Colour drenching is when you would do the whole wall up to the ceiling and all the ceiling. So your room is literally drenched in colour. We're going to go to colour capping.
If you add one red object to a room, regardless of the rest of the colour scheme, it sort of pulls the room together. Find a piece of wrapping paper that you love, cut out a piece to sit in an old photo frame and pop that on your sideboard.
Hello, welcome back to the Ideal Home Show YouTube channel. I've got a really exciting episode on the way now. I'm joined by Editor-in-Chief of Prima Magazine, Jo Checkley, and Prima's craft editor as well, Imogen Cooper, who are going to be talking to us about how we can combine styling and craft to really create that personalised home. How are you both?
Very well.
Really well, thank you.
Yes, excited to be here, chatting all things home and craft, our two favourite subjects.
Absolutely.
I know, and it's such a nice topic to combine as well, because obviously we all want a stylish home, but we do really want that personalised touch as well in it. So crafting can really help with that. So let's start then. I guess we'll break it down into the trends and the styling, and then we'll talk about the craft, and then we'll combine them. So, what styling trends? If we start with trends, what's dominating the home interior scene at the moment?
Oh, well, there's some fabulous trends at the moment. Prima is all about the trends, and it's all about finding what suits you for your home. We've seen a lot of the chocolate brown and the butter yellow, which is still holding strong, and which is fabulous. It's a great combination to have. But what you think about with the trend is not to think of it suddenly going from sort of flip-flopping from one to the other. It's much more of a pendulum action. So you swing between your trends. So while we've got the chocolate brown and the butter yellow at the moment, we're swinging gradually towards red. So we've seen some red in, if you think when you go to shopping, you see a lot of homeware things. We've got that lovely cherry red, which is really beautiful. Well, watch this space, because this will be coming to your home slowly. So the chocolate brown will sort of morph into a lovely deep terracotta, which will then go into the red. And of course, because it's Prima, we will be showing you how to use that red, because I think red sounds quite scary and you're thinking, how do I put that in my home? But there are very clever ways to introduce that colour, and it can have such an effect on a room. It really can.
Ooh, I love that.
Another one, actually, thinking of that colour, most people have heard of colour drenching. Am I right on that? Colour drenching is when you would do the whole wall up to the ceiling and all the ceiling. So your room is literally drenched in colour. Well, we're going to go to colour capping, which is a very beautiful way of having one colour on the wall, and then perhaps the top half, if you're lucky enough to have a picture rail, it'd be the bit above that, into a slightly lighter shade of that base colour on the wall. And then onto the ceiling will be your third colour. So you might have, for example, let's sort of take the red theme, a reddish colour on your wall. And then you might go to a peachy colour onto above the picture rail. And then your ceiling would be a lovely sort of pinky colour. It might sound a bit much for me saying it like this, but you think how clever those colours work together, and it's going to be something really super.
It's a really beautiful way to sort of extend your ceilings as well. Because if you're kind of changing colour and softening the colour as you sort of go up the wall, then it really kind of gives a sort of the best version of your space, I think. And it's a lovely way to dip your toe into the drenching trend. If drenching sounds a bit overwhelming, just go for some capping instead.
I've definitely heard of drenching, hadn't heard of the capping before. So that's new. And it's new. So would it always be that way round? So you start with the darker at the bottom and then go up? What would happen if we did it the other way around?
Well, you could try it in your home for sure, but no, we'll be saying the other way around. I think ceilings are often quite forgotten.
Absolutely.
Of it, you just think it's going to be white, and I think you're actually missing the biggest space really, and you can make it look beautiful. But I think doing it the other way around, so the lighter upwards, gives you a much lighter room, and I think that's what's really important. But don't worry, if you want to try it the other way around, we won't hold it against you.
In fact, send in some pictures. I want to see both way around. Yeah, that's a really nice colour. And like you mentioned as well about almost the pendulum, it's more of a softer introduction to these colours, which I guess for people, if they're wanting to update their homes, is a little bit of a nicer approach to it, rather than going, now I've got to repaint the whole room red and it was brown beforehand, whereas there's some nice, interesting, intricate bits we can put in to introduce that colour.
Important thing with a trend, don't feel you have to live and die and breathe by that trend. Take the bits you like and work them for your room and how your taste goes. I think that's a really important message, isn't it?
Definitely.
We're not here to preach, you must do this. It's to inspire, to say, yeah, that could actually work. Perhaps even if it's just one wall, you might want to just do a different colour. Don't feel that you have to follow the trend right all the way through.
There's even, I think it's a really lovely kind of interiors theory at the moment, which is if you add one red object to a room, regardless of the rest of the colour scheme, it sort of pulls the room together. So I would say if you're feeling a little bit uncertain about inviting a bolder colour like a red into your home, maybe give that theory a go. So buy or paint or upcycle one small home furnishing and give it a go in your living room or your kitchen or your bedroom, and just see how that makes you feel and how the space looks as a whole with that piece in it, and then just build from there. An amount that's sort of comfortable to you. We really don't want people to feel that they have to transform their whole home or their personalities to fit with the trend.
That would be a route to madness, wouldn't it?
And you'd never be satisfied. So just take the small parts of it that suit you and your space.
Yeah, I like that sort of starting small and then working up, depending on what you love. For nearly 25 years, CottageCore have been helping people fall in love with their homes with beautifully crafted furniture and accessories you won't find anywhere else. Their buyers travel the world to bring you original designs, always with an eye for quality and enduring style. From freestanding kitchen units and made-to-order sofas to statement lighting, storage and accessories, their offering captures each new season with a timeless aesthetic and effortless style. Every piece is handpicked with care for a collection that is curated for design lovers by design lovers. The English rustic trend is an evocative and layered look with eclectic accessories and furniture full of texture and character. It features colour in deeper tones with embroidered and printed textiles and natural materials reminiscent of cosy cottages and homely farmhouse style. And when it comes to Christmas, CottageCore is the place where festive dreams begin. Their eagerly anticipated festive trends are a highlight of the season, bringing together everything you need from show-stopping faux trees, baubles and lights to Christmas liners and gift wrap. So whether you want a serene, nature-inspired festive decor, a little retro glamour, or a fun, classic, nostalgic family Christmas, CottageCore have a trend to match your style. Click the link in the description below to create a home you love to be in with CottageCore. And I guess, Imogen, you mentioned there maybe upcycling, which I guess could slightly lean a little bit into the crafts as well, which I think leads us very nicely onto moving from styles to craft trends. What are you noticing at the moment that's making sort of a big impact in people's homes when it comes to crafting?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a really lovely shift, which I am certainly welcoming, away from very neutral, minimal homes into a much cozier kind of curated clutter, cottagey feel, which is where the kind of craft elements really come into their own. So beautiful textured blankets in knit and crochet, beautiful fabric cushions with a paisley or a ditzy flower print. All of these things you can make yourself really, really easily. And I think I'd love to sort of encourage people that you don't have to think of yourself as a crafter with a capital C to bring an element of these craft trends into your home. All you have to do is find something in a shop that you love, but perhaps don't want to kind of make that purchase, and have a think about ways that you could bring it into your home yourself. For example, with that kind of the trend for sort of heavier patterns and more florals, find a piece of wrapping paper that you love. cut out a piece to sit in an old photo frame and pop that on your sideboard. And that's just a lovely way to bring that cottagey feel into a room. And like we were saying, sort of build from there then. If you like that kind of heavier print feel, you can get braver and braver with your projects. But just give it a go, because I think you will be inspired and encouraged by what you can create really easily at home.
And you were mentioning this is the other trend, isn't it? It's intentional clutter.
Yeah,
which sounds crazy.
Yes,
but
I know.
It's this idea, and it really plays into that cottagey, cozy feel that we're looking for. I think it's all part of kind of making our home feel really safe and secure, which is great as we go into autumn. And it's this idea that yes, we don't want clutter, but you just put a few things together intentionally, and it does create a really nice warmth to a room. And certainly that you could have on your ottoman or a little coffee table, just a little tray, like a trinket tray, and then put a candle, put some books by it. And you could even have your craft project there, your next one that you're going to do. So there's that feeling that it's all pulling it together, but it's intentional clutter, which is great.
Yeah, I love that intentional clutter. I'm going to go take that to my other half, see if he likes it. Put it away. No, I won't. And I think as well, it's really nice when you mentioned there about perhaps your next project that you're working on, because then it's really livable, isn't it? But it's there, so you're probably going to pick it up more often as well.
Certainly, because there are so many you can do in front of the TV up there.
Exactly.
That's the great thing about crafting, isn't it?
Definitely. You can always find time, whether you're on the bus on the way home from work, sitting in front of the TV, waiting for your dinner to finish cooking in the oven, whatever it might be, find those few minutes to yourself. And I think the sort of craft element feeds in really nicely to that intentional clutter. I think it's a lovely thing to look around your home and be reminded of all the pieces that you've made over the years and you've added to your interiors. And even if you would do things differently now, perhaps, if you've become a more skilled knitter or crocheter since you started your first project, I think it's a really lovely thing. And there's no better feeling than when friends or family come round and look at your lovely tray on your coffee table with all your bits and bobs and ask you where you bought something from, and you can answer and say, I made that.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
there's no better feeling.
just out of interest, putting you both on the spot slightly, what's some crafting things that you're either working on now or sort of most proud of that you've done over the years?
So I bought my first home a couple of years ago and have covered it in things that I've made, because I bought my very first sofa. I'd never owned a sofa before, and I was so excited and wanted to find the perfect cushions to go on it. And so I crocheted them. I found it's a grey sofa, so I found a lovely kind of mid-blue yarn and crocheted them using alpine stitch, which creates a lovely kind of textured effect to the work. So it's every evening when I sit on my sofa, I think of that project. And I've kind of worked my way around painting, colour capping, you name it, I've given it a go, because it's great to be able to do these things on a smaller budget as well. There's no reason why you can't have a beautiful home at the end of it.
No, totally. And it's always so hard. If you think of a cushion that you really want, you can never find it in the shops.
Exactly.
To know that you can go out and choose the right colour and then create it yourself. And then have that lovely smug feeling. It's really good.
And I guess it's that one of a kind feeling as well, because you just go, wow, no one else is going to have this. It's not like going to someone else's home.
Exactly. And fraction of the price.
Exactly.
Which is always good, isn't it? Updating a house can be expensive, unfortunately. So what a great way to do that. So I know we sort of started touching on this, but I'd love to delve into it a little bit more detail, is how do we combine, I guess, the stylish element, the trends within the styling world to keep the home looking up to date and modern, or, however we want to style it, with the personalization without it becoming a bit overwhelming or mismatched?
No, that's a good point, because you could go too over the top, and your intentional clutter's going to have gone, hasn't it?
It's no longer intentional.
I mean, you can update a room really quite simply by just making tiny changes, which could play into the craft. So like we were talking about, actually cushions on a sofa are a great way to give an instant update.
Yes.
So obviously it might not be that instant if you're going to make it, but if you're planning that change, the other great way is adding is lighting, which I think again is another one of those that's often overlooked. Lighting can make such a difference in a room, and you might have always had the big overhead light. You might have always had the standard lamp. Yeah. But if you actually bring in some little lighting at different levels is really good. So you might bring in a little light to put on your coffee table, and then one perhaps in the bookcase. And then you might forget about that overhead light. And that will make a very big change very quickly. And the fabulous thing at the moment is there's the new cordless lights. So you're not then thinking, oh, but I can't put a light there because I've got no plug and I can't, they're everywhere now, aren't they? And they're so sweet. I love them. Yeah. You literally just buy a little light. You can either charge it by solar power or you can just batteries. Yeah. And then you can really change how you're feeling about a room. And from that different point, you can then think about adding some other little elements in, can't you? You very much so bring in the craft element to that.
Definitely. And I think the beauty of those cordless lamps as well is that they don't have to stay in one place. Yeah. So if you have friends around, you can start it off outside on your bistro set. And then when it gets cooler, you can move it in, perhaps to eat at your dining table. And then you move it again to your living area. And so you can take that kind of soft lighting with you. I think from a craft perspective, perhaps the easiest way to think about it is to look at your room as you already have it and think about the pieces that you're not quite sure fit with the style or the look you're going for. And that's where you bring in your personalization. So instead of kind of adding even more stuff, turn the things like upcycle or tweak the bits that you already have. So like I mentioned before, a really easy thing, if you've got kind of, I feel like we've all got them, those sort of old-fashioned looking sometimes, kind of varnished oak photo frames and that sort of thing. Give it a lick of paint in your favourite kind of pastel chalk paint shade, and immediately you've got a lovely new frame to put your favourite photo in. And look at things like if you've got painted banisters in your hallway, what colour do you want those to be? They don't have to be white or wood. It's thinking outside the box and sort of looking at your space as a whole and making those little tweaks within it, I think that has the biggest and most straightforward effect.
There's such good ideas. And I guess that's people, if they need inspiration, this is where Prima comes in, right?
We're all about the inspiration. Yes.
Really interesting what you said there about it. It's things that you don't even think about outside the box, and that's actually where external inspiration could be really helpful. So come and get coffee. So I know we just started touching on some craft projects, talking about upcycling things like frames and even your banisters, whatever it might be. If someone is wanting to do a full makeover, too much, and again, I know we've mentioned a few things on the way, but let's get them all in one space. What tips do you have for anyone who wants to go, okay, I want to refresh, I want to make sure that we've got some of that modern trends and style in there without doing a full makeover?
Yeah, well, very much so. Well, first get your copy of Prima Magazine, and then you'll be able to find out all the instant quick wins. I think, textures are really important, and I think they can get so overlooked. Because I think when you're, as you mentioned, standing back, looking at your room, I tell you what's coming back, which I was surprised about, is the pelmet is coming back. Do you know the pelmet?
No.
As in over a curtain.
Yeah.
A big box that would sit over a curtain. And we all got rid of them, didn't we? We all had the wooden curtain rails and the hoops. Well, more traditionally, you would have a pelmet, which is a fabric often made of fabric, isn't it? And that could be, it could be velvet, it could be a beautiful sort of chintzy look. And they're very much coming back, and that's about the textures. So you might bring in a pelmet over your curtains, and then you'd have the two different textures, which can work really well. Yeah. Or if you want to have a little bit more of a fresher look, you could have your bamboo blind with then some linen curtains. Yeah. So then you're layering your textures. And don't forget your blanket on on the sofa. They're so important. They really do add something, even if you never use them, although I do use them.
But then winter, right?
Looked over the back, a beautiful blanket, which of course that's something you could craft anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, crochet.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's that wonderful waffle stitch. That's what I really love.
Yes.
I like the waffle stitch as well.
I love that.
Chunky.
Makes a gorgeous look. So, that's a way of looking at your room and thinking about textures and how you can work and build on those. And I think that's rugs are also a great way to update a room. I mean, a lot of us have wooden floors now. I think that's sort of was a trend that came in. But it doesn't matter if it's carpet or wood. Adding a new rug every so often. And where you put that rug is quite important, because if you put it central, that's great. But actually, sometimes just putting it to one side or something can make a big difference too.
It changes the emphasis of the space. It doesn't it? It does. Where it's placed.
Yeah.
I think the other thing to remember is don't forget what your home or your room smells like. That's really important to kind of create a feel. And it's so much easier than you think to make your own scented candles. And I love changing the scents depending on the time of year. If you're a big Halloween fan, getting kind of pumpkin spice, going into cinnamons for Christmas, something a bit fresher for spring, summer, and just making your own candle and lighting that in your living room, to me, instantly transforms it. And they really are so much easier to make than you think.
So you melt the wax, don't you?
So you buy the wax in sort of little pellets, and then you melt that in a saucepan. You just need to make sure you've got a thermometer to check that it comes to the right temperature. Then you add in a couple of drops of your favourite essential oil. Really cheap to buy.
Fun, because you can mix and match on those.
Absolutely. Make a scent that no one else has. And then all you do is pour it into your jar or whatever you're keeping your candle in with a wick. And that's it. You've got a candle.
That's brilliant.
Okay, blow my mind. That'll be my crafting project this autumn. What a great thing to do, because candles as well, talking about saving money and not spending too much on sort of making over the home. What a great way to do it. And also, I guess that would be a really good family activity, as well as a lot of these crafting things that you've mentioned. Maybe not, if we're wanting to do something that is perfect, but there must be lots of things that you can do with the whole family to get involved. And then you've got that personalized touch within the home.
Yeah, definitely.
I just take care of the wax with the children. That's all very hard.
Disclaimer
there on that. Certainly, there are so many crafts you can do with children.
There are. A favourite of mine is perhaps at the end of the summer holidays, or maybe after Christmas, put together a scrapbook. And that doesn't have to just be photos. It can be, we call it mixed media, but really that just means a bit of everything. If you've been to a Christmas panto together, put your ticket in, stickers that you collect, a beautiful leaf that you picked up on an autumn walk, whatever will remind you of that particular moment in time. Put it with your children, grandchildren, whoever you're crafting with. Lay it out together and take the time one afternoon to kind of put it all together in a beautiful book, and then pop that on your coffee table as another piece of intentional clutter, and a really lovely way to always have a reminder of a special time you spent together as a family.
That's such a lovely idea, isn't it? And something children would love to do.
Yeah.
They often have little things they like to keep from something.
Definitely.
Keep them all together.
And it's hard to know sometimes what to do with all these things. You sort of don't want to throw them away, but equally they end up in the back of a drawer sometimes if you don't kind of do something with them.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to kind of keep everything together in one place.
Actually, and building on that, another great thing to do is a tablescape, isn't it? And it sounds very grand, but actually getting a little centerpiece which children can help make, can't they? For example, at Halloween time, you could get a little pumpkin sort of shapes or make something pretty. And actually, that's a really fun thing to do together. They can help with, and then it actually looks beautiful on your table, updating your room all in one. So it's a great double win, that one.
Yeah, I love that. And like you say, tablescapes don't need to be this massive grand experience.
But you just do it on your scale.
Yeah.
It's just a pretty little seasonal centerpiece that the children can get involved with making. Lots of fun.
Yeah, love that. What great tips, and way to keep the children busy this summer holiday, and any holidays that are coming up. So I know we've mentioned a couple of crafting tips there. Are there any other sort of simple crafting projects that people can do to refresh a room?
Yeah, I mean, Really, the list is endless. I suppose it depends. If you are a complete beginner, like I mentioned before, crocheting my own cushions, you can actually hand stitch your own cushions incredibly easily. All you need is 3 pieces of fabric. So if you've got a square cushion cover that you want, a pad that you want to fill, you just have to have a square piece of fabric for the front and 2 rectangular pieces for the back, which overlap, which means you don't have to have a zip. All you need is those 3 pieces of fabric. Top tip to remember, you've got to turn them the wrong way round, because we're going to turn the cushion cover inside out at the end to get that lovely neat finish around the edges. But all you need to do is hand stitch round each of those pieces of fabric to attach them together. Just a simple running stitch. And you've got yourself a new cushion cover for a fraction of the price that you would spend in a home store. And I really love, if you're looking to do it on an even smaller budget or be even cleverer with your crafting, get creative with the fabric that you use. An old duvet cover works really, really well. Old curtains, even old dresses. They're all just fabric. Just think of any material as yours to play with. You really don't have to use the kind of poshest silk or anything like that to make something really beautiful. And it's a great feeling to take something that you would otherwise perhaps throw away and give it a new lease of life. And you can always buy old duvet covers and that sort of thing really cheaply in your local charity shop. Charity shops are a great place to look for all things fabric.
Yeah. How lovely would that be if you used an old piece of clothing? It could be something that you love, or it's got a really good memory. It could be an item of one of your children, or perhaps your mum or a family member, and you could turn that into a timeless cushion.
Yeah, it's a really nice way to great sentimental value, and then it's always yours, and it makes it even more special.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy cross stitch.
Yes,
because cross stitch is something really mindful about it. Because you're following a pattern. It's not difficult, and you just enjoy that. But actually then that piece could be framed, couldn't it? Or actually put into a cushion if it was big enough.
Definitely.
But that's a nice way of adding that element of perhaps a modern frame, but with a touch of cross stitch, which would look really pretty. So that's always a nice one to do.
Yeah, that's absolutely. You're inspiring us. Me to all go away and try and find our crafts now. Just before we finish then, I know we've spoken a lot about the style side of things, but also the makeover, not spending too much money, crafting. So how does Prima then balance looking at those trends and making sure that we're keeping up to date with them, but also making sure that, I guess, the advice that is given is timeless and making sure that people aren't spending too much money? Do we have any sort of crossovers on that, or any advice about how we can ensure that we're up to date, but not still remaining true to ourselves?
Well, I think it's been true to the trend as well. And I think that's where Prima is particularly good, our home section. We're not going to be going out there and saying, right, rip out your bathroom and put in a whole new this colour scheme. For one thing, a trend can age as quickly as anything. And I think what you've got to remember is the trend that works, that can be timeless, which sounds contradictory. But the trend mustn't be all encompassing, and it can't be so ridiculous that you've then got it. And sure enough, even 6 months later, you're beginning to look out of date. So very much it's a sort of looking at it and thinking about your style. So when we say a trend, we would always counter it with, it might just be we're looking at a new paint colour or a new way to use that paint colour. It's not ever dictating. And a trend shouldn't dictate, should it? It should be very much work with what you've got in your room. And you work what will be a trend that can work for you long term.
Definitely.
You do not want to be constantly changing your room all the time, but you want to give it a little freshen up and a little update, and you want to feel like you're on trend as well. I think that's quite a nice feeling, reading about it, understanding what people are looking at, and then perhaps dipping your toe in that suits you. So we're always very much about saying it's for what suits you. Do not feel that we're there to say, oh no, you can't do it that way. Test and learn, see which bits of it work for you. As we were saying, the colour capping, you may not feel that's totally for you, but you might think about, actually tonal shades are a nice thing to perhaps introduce, and perhaps I will do, I don't know, a door or frame, something slightly different. And we're really there just to guide, to bring in, if people want to know, and I do always, happening out in the world. So we'll bring them that, and then we'll show them the way to introduce it subtly. So it could be through your soft furnishings. It could be through something as simple as, a table centerpiece. It's clever use of a trend, I think.
Now, I know that Prima was at the Easter show that we've just done, the spring show, the Ideal Home show. I hear rumours we might be back again. So we've got Christmas and we've got Easter on the way, or spring on the way. What can we expect for those who are coming to
We had such a good time, didn't we, in March?
We did. So much inspiration.
It was
too much inspiration.
Yeah, had a brilliant time. So we were on stage chatting, and it was so much fun. And the great thing about it, when Prima's there, you get a free magazine. So always worth coming to find the Prima show, because you'll get a magazine. And also the thing about Prima is you get a sewing pattern with the magazine. So we were giving out those. And do you know what? We've realised how many fantastic crafters were there. It's all about the home, obviously. Ideal home.
Goodness, yeah.
But they were brilliant. So we could talk about the patterns. So that's what we're going to be doing again. But before the Christmas show is actually really special, because Prima has just launched a brand new craft proposition, a craft club, which Imogen actually has been managing, which I'm sure you'd love to tell everybody about.
So it's our really exciting new craft community called Made Club. The craft has always been at the heart of Prima, and we have so many dedicated readers who we absolutely love, who knit, crochet and sew month after month, and we wanted to offer them something, and everyone else in the crafting community, a membership just for them. So expect lots of stylish project inspiration, events, socials, video tutorials, weekly newsletters. There's everything. Every crafter is welcome, from someone who likes to use a posh gel pen to write their place settings for their dinner party, all the way to someone who sews an entirely handmade wardrobe. It's for everyone. So we're really, really excited from Made Club Takeover Day at the Ideal Home Show Christmas, which is going to be brilliant. It's on Friday, the 28th of November. So it's the Friday of the show. We'll be there all day. I'm showing 3 easy Christmas crafts you can do on stage that anyone will be able to do, and it'll instantly elevate your Christmas cards, gifts and home. So I would absolutely love to meet as many crafters there as we possibly can.
It's going to be fab. And then, of course, Prima will be back for the spring show. We'll be on stage, won't we? Giving away all our lovely goodies. So that's going to be fun. And just having a good time, really. Lots of chats and finding out what everybody's doing with their homes and crafts.
Brilliant. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be a great one, especially anything where you get involved. And that's what I think is going to be great about the club. Like, everyone can just be there and try it and can ask you for advice. Obviously, Primas can see the magazine, get involved that way, see all the trends that are going on. So yes, so excited to
and share it. There are, as we said, there are so many great crafters out there, and they're telling us stuff as well. So it's really important to hear what everybody else is doing, and we can get inspired from that too. So it's a two-way street.
Learn from each other, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, with that in mind, get commenting. What do you want to see? What crafts have you been up to? Let us know in the comments down below. But thank you so much, Jo and Imogen. I know we're going to have you back on this channel. And of course, we'll see you at the shows as well. But thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today and sharing all your expert tips and tricks. Love it.
No, we loved it.
We have.
Really lovely. Thank you for having us. It's been brilliant.
Absolute pleasure. Right, we'll see you very soon. Thank you so much, of course, for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the usual stuff. And get commenting. We want to know what crafts you've been up to, or ones that you want to try. Let us know right here on the Ideal Home Show YouTube channel. We'll see you very soon. Thanks again.